Like, okay, first of all, this is good. Second of all, we all knew this was happening.
Do you blame Carlos or Andrew? Like
both of these mothers, both.
I was trying to defend Carlos, okay? I was trying to play devil's advocate, alright? I was trying to talk about, like, cancel culture and stuff, man, but, like, oh my god, this isn't real.
Me gustan los aviones, me gustas tú. Me gusta viajar, me gustas tú. Me gusta la mañana, me gustas tú. Me gusta el viento, me gustas tú. Me gusta soñar, me gustas tú. Me gusta la mar, me gustas tú. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Je ne sais pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Je ne sais pas.
Since the dawn of time, man has only ever wanted one thing in life: to win. Whether it's the NBA championships, gladiatorial battles, or presidential campaigns, there's always that electric feeling of victory, and esports is no different. Watching people from around the world compete on a singular stage for a chance at glory is a pastime that so many people indulge in, from regular everyday Joes to corporate money chasers. Speaking of corporate money chasers, it's no secret at this point that esports has become an industry. Organizations and sponsorships are looking to commercialize, monetize, and expand upon existing competitive frameworks. Basically, they're just chasing that bag. And while each and every org across each and every game has had their own unique stories worthy of their own unique videos, I believe that none are more interesting than the unbelievable story of what happened to G2's Valorant Championship Tour Division. From really high highs to devastatingly low lows, this story is really something else. So relax, sit back, and grab a snack as we attempt to unravel and explore the tragic and miraculously true story of G2's Valorant journey. Really quick before we continue, I'd just like to ask you to consider liking and subscribing if you enjoy this video. My current goal is to hit 200 subs and we're almost there, so if you could help me out, that would be really amazing. And also, I just wanted to thank everybody for all the support on my videos. It's been super encouraging and I really do appreciate it a lot. Anyways, let's get on with the video. Let's start from the beginning. G2 Esports, also known as Gamers 2, or entered the world of esports in 2014 with League of Legends. One of the people on this inaugural team is known as Ocelot, or Carlos. He will be very important later on. Since then, the org has branched off into several other ventures, like Rocket League and Counter-Strike, but for the sake of brevity and my own sanity, we are going to simply focus on their career as a Valorant organization for now. Even then, I want to specify that this video is about their VCT League team, and not their Game Changers team. They deserve a whole video for themselves. Anyways, G2's team building consisted of many former Counter-Strike professional players who wanted to jump ship over to Valorant, like every other team at this time. More specifically, G2 picked up players of European origin. The initial roster that formed in the latter half of 2020 consisted of Mixwell, Patatek, Pith, Ardis, and David P. Naturally, the team has gone through many roster changes over the years, with some notable pickups being Zeke, Coldamenta, Kellogg's, Nuki, and Avova. No disrespect for any of the other players, of course. The team actually performed really well in this era, achieving several podium finishes early on, and reached relatively close to that level in the 2021 Berlin and 2022 Reykjavik Masters tournaments, respectively. However, although G2 looked really good on paper, they never really performed well enough to compete in a Champions tournament, and only competed in 2 out of the 4 possible Masters at this time, as they did not appear in the Reykjavik 2021 or Copenhagen 2022 Masters tournaments. This underlying underperformance of the team was not helped when Riot dropped an absolute nuke on their VCT system by introducing franchising. For those unfamiliar with the concept of franchising, basically, an organization is offered a relatively permanent position in a Tier 1 esports league at the cost of a hefty sum of cash. In other words, they are guaranteed to be in mainstream tournaments and events without having to perform well in an open qualifier. Usually, this option is reserved for really wealthy and popular orgs, aka the esports clout gods, and VCT is no exception. However, with the VCT Ascension League, teams that perform in an open qualifier can fight for an additional spot in franchising. This will be very relevant later. Going into franchising, a lot of the fan base was left in the dark about what teams would be offered spots and what teams wouldn't, and a lot of the fan base's knowledge was left up to speculation and educated guesses. Many of the favorites and expected teams at this time were the likes of Sentinels, PaperX, Optic Gaming, Team Liquid, and of course, G2. But then, out of nowhere, it happened. The very action that would completely change the course of G2's presence in the history of competitive Valorant. This video showing Carlos, the guy from the League of Legends roster who became the then CEO of G2 Esports, partying with Andrew Tate, became infamous. Now, if you somehow don't know who Andrew Tate is, I recommend turning off the video now. But basically, he is an online influencer and personality who's become the poster child for misogynists, alpha males, Sigma TikTok edits, and frankly, weirdos on the internet. He's become a very controversial figure in the online space because of his anti-woke, anti-feminist, and pro-traditional masculinity takes and messages. I'm not going to sit here and dictate the opinions that people should have, but it's clear that Tate's morals and opinions, at least the ones that he portrays and identifies his brand with, do not align with those of Riot Games. This is the part where I would show you his recent tweets, but I literally do not think YouTube would allow it. But trust me, they're unhinged. Like, all types of slurs and bigotry. Anyways, coincidentally, following the release of this video, G2 would be denied a spot in franchising. As far as I'm aware, any connection between the two events was not strictly confirmed by Riot Games in any official capacity. I may be wrong on that. But the fact that G2 acknowledged the event and stated that Carlos was punished implies that his actions that night are solely responsible for their franchising denial. In other words, one of the founding members of the organization just lost them the rest of their Valorant career.
Hey G2 Army. Last night we failed you. The actions of our CEO spoke a language in stark contrast to the values and culture G2 lives by and strives for, and for that we apologize. Since our creation, we have worked hard to build a safe and inclusive environment to enjoy esports. These are just the small steps in the right direction we need to take as a company. We'll continue to do our best each and every day to improve ourselves and the industry at large. After internal discussion, Carlos and our supervisory board mutually agreed that he will take 8 weeks of leave as CEO and suspend his earnings during that time. Thank you to the G2 Army and the esports community for holding us accountable. G2 Esports.
So, what now? One of the biggest esports organizations in the whole of Europe was denied franchising from one of the biggest up-and-coming esports in the world. What's the solution here? Well, our answers can be found under the Star-Spangled Banner. This is the part of the story where we move from the European Valorant scene to the North American Valorant scene, and we're starting to look at the state of quality players competing in the Tier 2 Challengers scene. You see, I believe that G2 wanted to get into Valorant franchising by absolutely any means necessary, even if it meant going through the grinding task of the Ascension League. So, at the very end of 2022, they grabbed some hot market talent and assembled a team to compete in the next year's Challengers League. Headlining this new roster were Dapper, Oxy, Penny, Shazam, and Whippy. A team that looked good on paper, had a lot of experience competing at the top level of NA Valorant, and would have no roster changes during their lifetime. Unfortunately, their lifetime lasted only 7 months, as the team was dropped in July of the following year. After finishing poorly at the end of the 2023 Challengers League, the team was unable to qualify to even compete in Ascension, let alone win it and qualify for VCT. At this stage, it seems that G2 had lost all hope, and their options at the time were to either wait a full year and compete in Challengers again, or cut their losses and give up on Valorant completely. Apparently hearing their woes, the universe gifted G2 an absolute miracle. You see, While G2 was performing poorly in the North American Challengers tournament, another team was winning everything. The Guard. The Guard's roster in 2023 consisted of Tex, Balin, Trent, Net, and Jonah P, and was known as one of the top contending teams in North America, qualifying for 2022 Masters Reykjavik by beating a Prime Optic Gaming, the team that would go on to win that very same Masters tournament. Although this lineup had extreme talent, the team did not secure a spot in franchising and had to play through all of Ascension, including a heated final battle with M80 just to earn their spot back in the main league.
No way, they just lost like that. That was OT guaranteed. Oh my god, no way. They trolled so hard, bro. Wait, they're talking shit like that? Wait, bro's talking shit over to the fighters? Wait, show me the players, bro. Motherfuckers are about to fight on stage.
Now this all sounds really good, but what I didn't tell you is that the Guard had been struggling financially. Like, really badly. So much so that earlier in the year, they let off basically all of their social media and content creation employees. This also seems to be the reason that they did not meet the agreement deadline for franchising after Ascension. And this means that the players that just won Ascension, who were promised one of the biggest opportunities of their careers, were not only dropped from their team, but now unemployed. Due to the heavy weight of this situation, Riot was taking their time deciding on the best course of action, and ultimately came to this conclusion.
Competition update. After several months and rounds of communication with the Guard, the organization has failed to meet the deadline to agree to the team participation agreement for VCT Americas. As a result, the Guard will not be participating in the 2024 VCT Americas League. No team will be promoted to the VCT Americas, and the league will field 10 teams for the upcoming season.
Of course, this is a terrible outcome for all parties involved. So they reviewed and doubled back on their statement and allowed the Guard players to be picked up by another organization and be represented under that org in VCT. G2 took this opportunity that was practically handed to them and ran with it, picking up the coach and whole roster except for Tex, who went to Leviathan. They've also picked up Leaf from Cloud9, dropped Net to pick up IC, and have just qualified for Masters Shanghai. Literally, as I'm recording this, they are down one map to 100 Thieves in the playoffs. This opportunity as a whole has also been beneficial to both the org and the players. G2 now have their own secured position in franchising, and the players have been rewarded with their well-earned spots and are also now under a more financially stable and clouted organization. Although this is not the end of their story at all, G2 are on a path to a happy fairy tale ending, where all parties involved win. So that was my story time about G2's Valorant roster. The voiceovers in this video were done by the wonderful Robo at RoboKing139 on Twitter. Super cool dude and was kind enough to help me out with his talents. Go support him and check him out if you need anything narrated or voiced. I highly recommend it. I've been working on this video for quite a while now, more so than all of my other videos, and honestly I'm really happy with how it turned out. I know I said it earlier, but I really do appreciate all of the support from you guys for this channel. It really means so much to me, and I'm truly blessed that I can do stuff like this for fun. I have a lot of videos planned for the future, from this kind of yap-like content to gaming content to whatever ideas I just have in general. So subscribe if you're interested in that. Also, I have a Twitch channel. The link is in the description if you're interested. I try to stream every now and then, but university life is busy as hell, so it's kinda up in the air right now. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.